Esme, hello. Welcome to the
Hi.
Charles Owen podcast / Zoomcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
We're very excited to talk to you. Now, I want to know, and obviously we know you've got lots of followers on YouTube.
Oh.
I'm curious to know, how do you describe what you do? If someone said to you, oh, what's your job? What do you do? How would you describe what you do?
Oh goodness, there are so many different things that kind of is my job. So I usually just say I'm a YouTuber, but there's a lot more that sort of goes into that than just making videos. There's also all the brands that I work with, such as Charles Owen. There's also the emails, the admin, the filming the videos, the editing the videos, getting photos of product and things like that. So there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. So usually I just say YouTuber, but I feel like sometimes it's a little bit more than that.
And that leads me on to my next question, actually, because I know that when you first started this, you were juggling first your GCSEs, then you're juggling your A levels. Now, am I right? You're working on this full time.
Yes.
It's a full time job. So what does an average day look like for you? Because obviously you've still got your 3 horses.
Yes.
So what does an average day look? How much time are you riding? How much time are you filming? How much time are you editing? How much time are you working with brands, etc.?
It's probably easier for me to say what I do in a week than what I do in a day, because all of my days are so different, they're so varied. It really does change week for week, because obviously we've had lockdown recently and I've been sort of here, there, everywhere, sort of catching up on filming videos. So the last sort of 3 weeks, I've probably filmed about 3 or 4 months worth of content.
Wow.
So at the moment, I think I've got 10 videos that I've filmed that need editing, because what some people don't really realise is how long it takes to edit a YouTube video. Sometimes it can take a few hours, sometimes it can take a few days or even a week. It depends on how much footage I have. So I find the videos that I do at shows, they tend to be the ones that take the longest to edit, because I do so many transitions, so many sort of chopping up lots of different bits of footage, all the transitions and everything. So that takes a long time. Obviously I've got the horses as well. So I look after them and ride them. So I usually have sort of 2 days, I usually have a lesson once a week with my instructor on my new horse Joey that I got back in March just before lockdown. So he's sort of the new boy to the herd. I've also got my horse Casper as well, who I ride. So I try to ride both of them around 5 to 6 times a week. It really depends sometimes, such as recently, not too long ago I went to the Charles Owen factory, so I was out and away filming for a few days then. So yeah, it's been really busy recently.
Mentioning your A levels there, what did you do your A levels in?
So I did biology, chemistry and geography for my A levels.
Okay.
So I finished them back in 2019, and I kind of was going to spend this year as kind of a gap year to see what it was like being a YouTuber full time, and it's something that I really enjoy and I want to try and carry on with for as long as I possibly can. As soon as I finished A levels, it was kind of like bam. So I think I finished my chemistry A level in the morning, and then that afternoon I was at Hicksted. I was filming there, working, and my family have this kind of joke that I haven't really stopped working since. It's been pretty busy.
What do your family make of it? And obviously you're a very bright girl. They are quite impressive A levels to take. What do your family think of the fact that you are this brainy girl and you decided to make YouTube your career? I mean, is this your career? What do they think of it?
So yes, YouTube is my full-time career. They're both super supportive of it, because it's something that I really enjoy and I am able to do as a job, and it's given me so many amazing opportunities that I'm so grateful for, and so many skills I've learned from it as well, such as talking to the camera and presenting, interviewing riders, learning how to edit. And yeah, the opportunities that YouTube has given me is something that I would never be able to do without it, such as riding on the Hicksted bank on my pony Casper, seeing and interviewing some incredible riders that I've looked up to for years and visiting their yards, sometimes even riding some of their horses, which still just blows my mind today.
You had to go on William Fox Pitt's badminton horse, is that right?
Yes, Little Fire. That was just incredible, because he was like, oh, do you want to have a little sit on it? And I thought he meant, oh, do you want to just like have a sit on it for a photo? And I was like, yeah, sure, go on. And then he was like, oh, you can have a walk around. And I was like, oh, cool. So you can trot if you like. And then like by the end of the session, I was cantering it, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Amazing.
I'm schooling his badminton horse.
Wow.
So
fantastic. And I mean, that's quite a lot of pressure, and you're 19, is that right now?
Yes, I am 19.
Still so young.
Oh.
That's what you're doing is a big deal, and you've come a long way. And I've read that you were really quite shy to start out with.
Yeah.
So how have you coped with all the attention, and how have you coped with being out there and being this face and meeting all these amazing people?
Yeah, so I'm actually quite a shy person. When I was at school, I used to hate having to do any presentations in front of the class, reading out loud. It just was not my thing. But I feel like YouTube has given me so much confidence. So literally from not being able to want to talk in front of the class to interviewing top riders that I've looked up to for years, it's quite a contrast. So especially when I first started out, talking in front of the camera is sort of a skill that it's just something. The more you do it, the more you get used to it, and the more it feels natural.
The more natural it becomes.
Such as, for example, when I'm filming at the shows, before I'd be a little bit self-conscious, I'd speak a little bit quieter, especially if I was in public and people were watching. But it's one of those things with confidence, you just kind of have to fake it till you make it. You have to be like, bam, let's go, let's film, look like you know what you're doing. And it's just made me so much more confident. Like, now I'm fine talking to the camera and that kind of thing.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
And what would you say, I mean, speaking of your nerves and all the amazing things you've done, what would you say is the hardest part of your job?
The hardest part? Well, I think with YouTube, the most difficult thing is pleasing everybody, which is definitely something that nobody can do in this world. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to like the videos that you make and things like that. So it's really trying to find a balance, but also, like, I feel like I'm quite creative and I come up with lots of new video ideas. But I'd say the most difficult thing about being a YouTuber in general is sort of progressing but not changing so much that people are like, oh my goodness, who is she, what's she doing? But then if you carry on making the same exact videos all of the time, people are going to get bored. You need to always have something new and exciting, but don't be so different that people get switched off and they're like, this isn't what I signed up for.
How have your videos evolved over the years? Because not only have you matured and grown and got more confident, your editing skills have got better. So how have you progressed? How have things changed over the years?
Yeah, so I first started off doing everything on my phone. Since then, I've sort of upgraded with camera equipment. I used to do a lot of videos with my GoPro and things. Now we have like a drone, which is pretty cool, that we use sometimes, which the horses are used to now. The first time we flew it over in their field, they're all looking at it like, oh my goodness, what is that? But no, I'm so lucky that all of our horses are really chilled with all of the camera equipment. It's just something that they've got used to over time. And sometimes when we go and film with other people, we have to be really cautious and remember these horses aren't used to sort of somebody standing next to them with a camera. Speaking
of trying new things, you've just done a much more kind of feature length, haven't you? So a documentary style video. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So I thought I'd play around with a few different things with the editing and the filming. So I actually did a video at my friend Kate Lewis, and I did a video called Day in the Life of Blob the Cob, which is her YouTube channel. But anyway, so I spent the day with her and I wanted to make this video sort of big, bold and different, so I filmed it almost like a documentary, made it a bit more cinematic, it spent so many days. I spent so many days editing this video, but I'm super happy how it came out, and everybody seems to be enjoying it so far, which I'm really happy about, because with YouTube, whenever you put something different out, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking. You're a bit like, oh my goodness, like, what are people going to think to this? This is a little bit different. But no, it went down really well, which I'm super happy about.
And who is, because obviously for a lot of it, you're on screen.
Yes.
It's not like now where you've got the camera set up on a tripod.
Yes.
So who did the filming for you in that situation?
So I'm really lucky that my family helped me out with filming my videos. Even when I was younger, before I started YouTube, if I went like out show jumping or something like that, I'd always get my parents to film my rounds so I could watch it back, see how it went, see the things that I could improve on. So
it's a real family affair,
yes,
isn't it?
So even my brother helps out a lot. He flies the drone. He's got a 3D printer as well, so that's been really useful. He's been printing out things for the camera, so we have all these sort of added bits and bobs. And no, I'm just really lucky that they're so supportive and help me a lot with what I do.
And what does your brother think of having such a massive YouTube star? Is he proud of you?
Yeah, it's just something that we've all kind of got like a little bit used to. Thing is, it sounds weird, but it's kind of like Hannah Montana, best of both worlds, because if I just sort of go out into town, that kind of thing, don't get recognised by people at all, I just feel like a normal teenager, if I'm honest. But then it's when I go to the horse shows and things, that's when it feels a little bit more strange and different and people start to recognise me. So yeah, it is a little bit like the best of both worlds. It's something that I've kind of got used to over time, but I think it's really lovely. I love meeting people who watch my videos when they tell me like what their favourite videos are, and we're talking about the horses, learn a bit more about them, and it's just so lovely.
Do you have a favourite video? Something particularly that you're proud of or fond of?
I did a lot of travel last year, so I went to Iceland, rode some Icelandic horses, which was just amazing. I went to the US, I did some Western riding in Colorado, Utah, and Texas, which is something I've been wanting to do for so long, so I really enjoyed doing that and trying Western riding. I actually have a few videos coming up soon of me trying some different disciplines, which is very exciting.
When you've done them, do you watch them back? Or once you've
sometimes
done,
it depends on the video. So for example, I have like a progress video, I think it was my 5 years with Casper, where it kind of shows how far we've come together as a horse and rider combination. So that's a video every now and again I like to go back and watch, just because it's so lovely to see, you know, how far we've progressed.
Because I watched that video of your journey with Casper, and it is quite remarkable. And I am a rider and also a mother of a 12-year-old daughter who rides. And my reaction when I saw him bucking those bucks and you falling off repeatedly, and I think your parents did say to you, they gave you a bit of a deadline, didn't they, and say, we think we're going to have to get rid of him. And I thought, I don't blame them. So amazing, your persistence, absolutely massive respect to you for that. And for your parents supporting you. I mean, so, I mean, a lot of people would have given up. And what an amazing horse he turned into.
So I could always see the potential in Casper. We got him because he was within our budget, which was actually quite small at the time, because I wanted to keep my first pony, Mickey, who has the biggest personality. Oh my goodness, we just call him our family dog. Like, we take him for walks to the village shop and things. So we couldn't get rid of Mickey. So when we got Casper, our budget was a lot smaller. He was very green, very young, and very unexperienced. And I was 12 and he was 7, so he really hadn't done that much, because he used to be in Ireland, and I don't know what they did with him. I think they just hunted him and that was it really, so he hadn't really seen many sort of coloured show jumps and fillers and things. So it was one of those things that, I just persisted, and I knew that he could be the horse that he is today. It was just making him feel happy and settled in the home that he is in now. I think he was one of those horses where he needed his person. I feel like I'm definitely his person. It's so funny. He's still quite strange when other people ride him. He takes a lot for for him to actually trust somebody. So he's just so amazing now. He's such a lovely little horse. He's a really lovely all-rounder. I can do everything with him, take him out hacking, go cross-country, jump him, and show jumping's definitely his favourite. Sometimes when I jump him, he does like a little squeal of excitement afterwards because he just loves it so much. So, yeah. And
so, obviously, you've got your new horse, Joey. And so what are your kind of horse-wise, what are your kind of plans? What are your in terms of competing and getting out and doing stuff? What do you hope to do with
Honestly,
them?
I'm quite a chilled person. Like with Joey, he is quite a young horse. He's just turned 6. He hasn't done too much before we got him, which was one of the main reasons why I really liked him, as well as his lovely personality. But so I don't want to rush things, he's young. I want to just, go with the flow, see how he goes. Hopefully next year I think we might get out, go competing, maybe do a few smaller events or a few sort of show
jumping's your thing.
Yeah, show jumping is my thing, but I feel like he would do really well at eventing, so we might have a little try at that. We will see. I don't know, but he seems like a horse that would really love cross-country. That's something that I'm really wanting to do, is take him out cross-country, because recently our van has been a little bit poorly, so it's been away being fixed, but our horse van is now back, so hopefully I can take him out cross-country soon.
Esme, what is it with you and Grace?
Oh my goodness.
Is this like when you go horse shopping and you have your list? Is it like top of the list? Great.
I get asked this a lot. We had Mickey, and then after that we had Casper, who's a grey, and we're like, after Mickey I was like, no, I'm never getting another light coloured horse. And then Casper came along and he was within our budget, and I was like, okay. And then with Joey I was like, okay. I was like, no more greys, that's enough. And then it was my parents were like, no, Esme, you've got to keep the grey theme going, because when you're filming a horse, a bright white grey with like a sort of brown background stands out a lot more compared to a bay horse in a sort of brownish background. So we're like, okay, I was fed up with the cleaning. We're like, okay, we're not going to judge a horse on what colour it is. as it should be when you're trying horses. And then Joey came along,
Absolutely.
and I was like, well, he's dark at the moment, so I'll have like a few months at least of not worrying about having to clean him so much. But he is getting lighter. He's getting lighter.
And I do love the fact that part of the decision is, is based on, like you say, what's going to work on camera. So you're very professional at all times.
So it sounds really strange, but when we were looking for a horse, we were looking for like a YouTube horse. We were looking for all these requirements, such as something that hasn't done too much, so it doesn't have like a huge competition history or anything like that. Something that's super bold, which definitely is Joey. I take him for hacks. There'll be motorbikes will go past, tractors, cars with trailers, he's fine. And there's like Casper behind him, like, oh my goodness, a motorbike. So and then there's Joey, who's just turned 6 and he's super chilled. So yeah, that was one of the main reasons as well why I fell in love with him.
And obviously when you first started out, and now your life is very much based around your YouTube channel, and your YouTube channel reflects your life. So both, it's a great relationship you've got going, is why people love you, I think. But you started it just for your own purpose, just to record your progress with Casper, and then obviously you started getting followers. Now, can you remember, was there a point when you suddenly thought, okay, you might have had like 100 likes or 100 followers, and suddenly, when you suddenly got to 1,000, and when you got to 100,000, can you remember those moments thinking, oh my goodness?
Yes, definitely. So, Casper is the main reason why I actually started my YouTube channel, to track our progress. And it was the summer after my GCSEs. I just made a video every single day because I had nothing else to do. It's a really long summer and I really enjoyed making the videos. I thought, you know what, I'll have a go at this. Seems quite fun. And it was at the end of the summer, I think I got up to 10,000 subscribers. I had been doing YouTube for about a year or two before that, but I was never really consistent with my uploads. It's something I just did every now and again as I felt like it. But when I started posting a lot, that's when the views started going up and everything. So I think the main sort of point where I was like, oh wow, I'm actually a YouTuber, was when I got to 10,000 subscribers. It was wild when I hit 100k as well, because that's when you get your plaque from YouTube that they send in the post to you with your little channel name on. And still when I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, is that real? Is that mine? So
at what point did you think, goodness, this could actually be a career? I could make money out of it?
Honestly, it was, when I started my A-levels, it was around 20,000 subscribers I had. And then when I finished, I had over 200,000, 250, I believe. Wow. So during the whole of school, I was always really focused on my A-levels. Obviously school's really important as a backup as well, even if that's not something you want to go down the route of. I focused really hard, worked really hard for my A-levels, got my results. And afterwards I was kind of like, well, I'm really enjoying doing YouTube. I can probably do it as a job. I'm just going to have a year, see how it goes, give it a go. And it's definitely something that I really want to carry on for as long as I possibly can.
And how many followers have you currently got?
Oh, goodness. I honestly don't know. I don't like to look at the numbers too often.
It's over 400,000,
I think it's around 470,000. Yeah.
Wow. And do you have a target and you think, I want to get to 500, I want to get to 600? Have you got that in the back of your mind? Is that part of your plan?
I think with YouTube, obviously it would be incredible to get 1 million subscribers, but that might take a while. But hopefully I want to try and get 500k by the end of the year, maybe. We will see. But it's one of those things that I'm not one of those people that I set a goal and I'm like, I have to get this goal by the end of the time limit or anything like that. I really enjoy what I do, and as long as I'm focusing on the content and I'm putting out good content that I'm really happy with, that's what is most important to me.
There are so many YouTube channels out there and Instagram accounts. So why do you think, what is it about this Esme you think that people love?
I think I have to say it's the horses. The horses, they all have such big personalities, and I think it's one of those things that people always want to come back to. They want to see how the horses are doing, what they're up to, and back in the day when I started YouTube, there really weren't many people making videos about horses, and that's why I never really thought it was possible to have an equestrian YouTube channel as a job, because I just thought there aren't enough people out there who would want to watch horsey content, which is definitely something that has surprised me. I get emails from people being like, before I started watching your videos, my life was totally different. Like, since then, since watching my videos, they didn't ride. Now they've moved to the countryside, they've bought a horse ranch if they're in America, or stables, and like their whole family will sit around and watch my videos together, and now their whole family ride horses when before they didn't, which just blows my mind what an impact I've had on some people's lives.
And do you know what, but you really have, because again, so my daughter, my daughter is sort of a bit young. She doesn't really do Instagram yet, but some of her friends do. And the moment I mentioned your name, they're like, oh my god, you're going to do this, Esme. They were so excited, and it's quite a big thing for you to carry, isn't it? And banded around is the term influencer. You are an influencer. What does that word mean to you? And are you aware of the pressure of that? How does that make you feel?
I think with my videos, I'm always really conscious and always think about what I'm putting out there, what are people going to sort of listen to. So for example, when I'm doing my videos that are almost sort of like tutorials, such as how to muck out a stable, I always try and put it as in, this is how I do something. If you don't know how to do it, then, here's a way you can do it. But if you do it differently, it doesn't mean you're wrong. But also, I understand that a lot of people are watching my videos, so something I try to do is I work with a lot of charities to try and spread awareness about them. So last year I actually went to Senegal with the Brick charity, and I saw some of the incredible work that they do out there. Just to be able to sort of go out there with the Brick charity was so eye-opening and just an incredible experience. I've also done quite a lot of work with the RDA as well. I went to the RDA Nationals last year, and I also helped out and filmed a video at one of my local groups, which was amazing to see. And I've also done some stuff with World Horse Welfare, talking about sort of their rehoming projects that they have.
So yeah, incredible experiences you're getting. So not only getting to talk, to show what you're doing with your horses and educate people that way, you're getting an opportunity to educate people about all these amazing charities, which is an incredible opportunity. And I said that there is a certain degree of responsibility that you carry. Have there been any moments when you've been doing this that have been a bit scary, or that you kind of thought, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this? You seem so confident, but I imagine, like anything in life, anything on social media, it's not always great. It just isn't. Life isn't like that. We have some really low moments. So have you had particular lows or anything particularly that frightened you about this?
I think the hardest time for me was balancing social media with school. I was pretty stressed out at that point, but I just worked super, super hard, and I think by the end of it I was a little bit burnt out. But it's one of those things, it's made me stronger, and it's made me more motivated, because now I do it full time. I'm just putting all of my sort of energy into it. And obviously another sort of downside is that not everybody is going to like you with social media, and you just have to sort of be, because you get comments being like, oh, you're an awful rider, but then you also get comments being like, oh, you're the best rider in the world. And obviously I don't believe either of those statements, because neither of them are true. So I always say, you know what, with the comments, just believe what you think.
I was going to ask you about that, trolls, dealing with trolls. What would your advice be to someone? Because I think that puts people off doing stuff on social media because they're frightened of that. How do you handle it, and what would your advice be?
I'm really lucky that the people that watch my videos, I have such a lovely and positive community that it's very rare that I do ever get any negative comments. And I think that's definitely something that has been created by whenever somebody says something a little bit snidey, I'll just delete the comment, and then nobody will see that comment. It's when people reply to the comments, or like even A-list celebrities, you see them retweeting things or reposting things on their stories, which just breeds more negativity and more hate. It's not the way to do it. So if you delete it, get out your mind, move on.
Yeah, and what do your friends think of it? I mean, does it help? I mean, often, celebrities say that it's their friends that keep them sane, because you've got 500,000 followers, well, nearly, 470,000 followers. Hopefully 500,000 very soon. So you've got a lot of people that love you, lots of fans, but it's your friends and family that matter, isn't it? That's what's real to you. And how important are those kind of friendships in keeping your feet on the ground in this kind of situation?
Oh yes, 100%. Like each week I at least meet up with my friends once, obviously all social distance at the moment, but my friends have always been super supportive of my YouTube channel, but we all have like sort of a banter kind of relationship, so we always keep things real, joke about things, and I think it's important that there's a lot of people out there and they have lots of yes friends and they just say yes to everything, when I feel like we're all very brutally honest to each other. So if I post sort of a video that's maybe a little bit embarrassing, they'll be like, oh my gosh, Esme, you should have done this thing different or this thing different. So, you know, it's all good and we all get along really well. So
are there any videos that you've done that you look back on and you kind of go, oh no, you know, maybe in the early days, anyone make you cringe?
Mainly just the videos that I started off making when I was younger. I feel like whenever people see photos or videos of you when you're younger, you're like, oh my gosh, was I really like that? But I think for me, it's just that when I first started doing YouTube, it sounds like I was whispering in all of my videos because I was so shy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I think I was, I don't know, worried about my family hearing me talking to the camera or talking to myself in my room, being like, gosh, she's a strange child. But no, so I feel like, yeah, just me being more confident now is a lot better than before when I was kind of shy and awkward.
And obviously lots of followers look, and people that want to be YouTube sensations will look to you for inspiration. Who inspires you on YouTube? Who do you follow?
Gosh, I watch a large variety of different YouTubers from different sides of YouTube, but I think the YouTuber that I kind of look up to the most has to be sort of the ones that are at the top of the platform, that because, you know, they're obviously doing something right to be at the top. So I watch a bit of PewDiePie every now and again. He's had some controversy in the past, but I think the reason why his videos are still popular today as they were 10 years ago is because he keeps it real. The content that he makes, it still feels like you're chatting with your best mate, they're in their room playing some video games, and you can still relate to them. It's when YouTubers, they become like a different person. Sometimes they like move to LA, that kind of thing, and you're kind of like, this isn't what I signed up for. So I guess I'd have to say that.
Yeah. And I'm talking of the fans. Now, we put some questions out.
Okay.
On the Charles Owen Instagram feed, and we had lots and lots of lovely questions sent in. We had to whittle it down to a few, so I'm really sorry we can't ask them all.
Yep.
We've got a question here from bonkers_EQ. When did your social media followers start to grow and what triggered it? Now, we have talked about it, but was there a particular thing that triggered it, that you went from a few hundred to the thousands?
So it was the first sort of different video that I published. So before, it would just be edits of me riding, things like that. And I thought, you know what, this is a video that would have helped me maybe when I first started out riding. So I did a video called GoPro How to Tack Up a Horse. So I had a little camera on my head and I was basically just showing how to tack up a horse. And I think back then the YouTube algorithm, because it was around 2016, 2017, they were really pushing tutorial videos. So a lot of YouTubers made videos like that. And I didn't realise this at the time. It's something I really kind of realised recently. But so that video, now I think it's got 4 million views, which is wild. So people always are like, oh, what's your most viewed video? And it's like, it's definitely not the one I'm most proud of. It was one I made years ago. But no, hopefully it's helped a few people. So that was, the first video that I was like, oh my goodness, my subscribers are going up like a little bit, even though it probably just jumped from like 5 to 500, but still I was like, oh my goodness, all these people have come along.
Sophie.Emma, and again we have discussed this a bit, but she wanted to know, what was it that first made you start the YouTube channel? What was the very first, I know we all do videos of ourselves, but why did you suddenly think, I know, I'll put it on YouTube? What happened?
Well, I enjoyed watching a lot of sort of like content on YouTube, and I thought, you know what, I'll make some like horsey stuff. It was honestly like Casper is the reason I started YouTube, because I would upload my progress videos, because my phone would run out of storage, because I'd have so many videos of me riding Casper. I just thought, you know what, I'll upload it to YouTube, don't have to worry about storage then, I can go and watch it whenever. Ended up putting like my videos on public. I was like, if people can watch it, they can if they want, wasn't expecting anybody to watch them, and then it's just something that's sort of grown over time.
And speaking of Casper, Jasmine Denham wants to know, how long does it take to groom Casper each day?
Oh goodness, it depends how dirty he gets, which honestly a lot is very dirty. In the summer he does stay a bit cleaner, but not that much, because it's honestly in his morning routine, he has his breakfast, goes out in the field, and he rolls in the muddiest or the dustiest patch he can find. But I feel like I've become quite skilled at grooming grey horses, so I've got a few tips and tricks that I use every now and again, which gets them clean relatively quickly, but I'd say around sort of 10-15 minutes I spend on grooming him.
Okay. What, just any couple of tips you'd hand on to us?
purple shampoo on stable stains. And then rubber curry combs or sort of magic brushes, they're really good at getting off sort of dirt that's dry. But if it's anything to do with wet mud, just put a hose pipe on that. Don't bother about brushing it because that's not coming off.
Good advice, thank you. H.Lou_Chester_Pony wants to ask, do you have an idol?
There are so many riders that I feel like I look up to, but I think if I had to say one, I'd probably say Holly Smith, because last year I went to so many different shows. I went to both Hicksteads, the Dublin Horse Show, Rotterdam for the Europeans. I went to Barcelona for the Nations Cup final, and at every single show Holly Smith was there with all her horses, and I found it tiring enough going around all the shows carrying my camera bag. I can't imagine what it's like to be competing there, bringing all your horses across the globe. And I think last year, going to all the shows, I don't think I quite realised until then how much work and effort goes into being a professional rider.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's not an easy job.
No.
Because I think people might often think that your job's quite easy, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
Yes, a lot behind the scenes.
Absolutely. X.sophie.equestrian.x would like to know, how does it feel to be such an inspiration?
Oh gosh.
Quite a big question there.
Well, first, thank you, but I don't know. It sounds very bizarre, but it's one of those things that honestly, it's so difficult to describe because I have all these people that do watch my videos and look up to me, but to me, I'm just Esme, you know? Like, I go to the horse shows and people come and do meetups and come meet me, which I really enjoy. Love meeting you guys. But it still baffles me how people will line up in a queue for almost 2 hours to meet me when at the show there are Olympians, incredible riders, and then it's just me.
I think, though, that's the whole point. I think people like you because you're just you.
Yeah.
Because you're very you. And I think people can relate to you, and I think maybe it's the Olympic rider. They think, well, I'm never going to be an Olympic rider.
Oh.
So although they admire them, they can't necessarily aspire to be them. But I think people feel like they can aspire to be you.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, you do great things with your horses, and they love the horses, don't they?
Oh.
They love the horses and they love you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
So you're doing good things.
Oh, thanks.
Also, people like your outfits. Let's face it. And Danita.
Yep.
_EQ wants to know, how many matchy sets do you have?
Oh, I get asked this a lot, and honestly, I have lost count because I have a whole box full of saddle pads and things ready to do giveaways with, and I always get asked, oh, how many saddle pads do you have, or how many riding tops do you have? And I honestly don't know. I'd probably spend like a whole day counting them all if I'm honest, which is not good. So yeah, I am doing a lot of giveaways and things, and hopefully giving back to my subscribers, which is nice.
Also, let's talk about Charles Owen helmets.
Yes.
E1_0014X wants to know, what made you choose Charles Owen helmets?
Before Charles Owen contacted me, I actually already rode in their helmets. I had one of their skull caps. For me personally, the main thing that I really love about Charles Owen is the safety. For example, when I went to the factory, I saw this sort of testing room that they have where they do all of these tests on their products, because, you know, the main reason why you wear a helmet is because it protects your head, you know? But also, I love how they look as well. Like, one of my favourites that I actually wore today was the SP8, which has like the little glitter on top, which looks very fancy. It's very me. And yeah, I just think they look really pretty as well. But yeah, mainly I'd have to say definitely the safety.
Murty Moray wants to know, what is your favourite Charles Owen helmet?
Yeah, as I said, I think it's so difficult because there's so many that I really like, and it's quite nice because I'm so lucky that I have quite a few, so I have the variety of changing them up. Like, I have the pinstripe, which is in like a light grey and rose gold, which I definitely would say are my colours. I love the reflection as well. I love the size of the peak. I feel like it's almost perfect, and it has the sort of, the reflection bit on top, which I think looks really cool. Obviously, I have all my skull caps, the MIPS ones in lots of different colours as well, because matchy. So I think it's difficult to just say one, but those are a few of my favourites.
So leading on from that, Esme, Chloe E.eventing wants to know, how did it feel to get all your sponsors? How does it feel? Would you remember getting your first sponsor, and how's it kind of been to have them all?
Yeah, so it still sort of blows my mind today, but you know, I started off with like a few sort of like small independent businesses on Instagram to now, like, I walk into my local tack shop and I like see the Charles Owen helmets up there and it's like, wow, this is a brand that I work with. Or for example, when I go and pick up my feed for the horses, I see like the Bailey's horse feed bags there. I'm like, oh my goodness, I work with them. So yeah, I still, like, every time I bring on a new sponsor and things, I still get the same feeling as I did back in the day when it was all sort of new and things. So yeah, it still blows my mind.
Going back to your horses, Ava_eventing_1 wants to know, we've touched on this a little bit earlier in the interview, but will you compete, Joey, and if so, at what level?
Yes, so the plan is next year to hopefully have a little go at competing, see how he goes, eventually affiliate him, and honestly, I'm not one of those people where I have a goal, I'm like, okay, I want to jump 120s with him. Like, if he can do that, then that is amazing, and we'll just see how it goes. But honestly, because he's young, I'm not in sort of any mood to rush him. I'm just going to see how it goes. And because, you know, at the end of the day, for me, competing is fun. It's not my job. And, you know, if you're having fun, that's the main part.
It really is. No, absolutely, 100% agree with that. We've come to the end of those questions now. I've got 3 final questions which we ask everyone that comes on the Charles Owen podcast. And the first question is, if you hadn't been a YouTuber, what would you have been? Now, obviously, what was it, biology, chemistry, geography, your A-levels? What do you think you'd have done? What would you like to have done if you hadn't been a YouTuber?
I was actually looking at unis and things, and I think what I was really interested in was actually veterinary physiotherapy, because then I could go to uni, still work with horses, and maybe be on the equestrian team, something like that, maybe even bring my own horse to uni. But so that's what I was kind of looking at. I did want to be a vet in the past, but I thought, you know what, that sounds a little bit too stressful for me and having all that pressure. So I thought vet physio would be really nice, working with horses and sort of the rehabilitation side of things.
Right. And another question I've got, which is funny enough, normally we say, what do you wish you'd known 10 years ago? Now, 10 years ago you were only 9, so I don't think, so what I was going to say instead was, what do you wish you'd known when you first started this YouTube journey? Is there anything you know now that you wish you'd known back then?
I think I would just say, do things for you, not for other people, because you're not going to make everybody happy. Put out the content you want to make. Don't worry about what other people think as well. Like, I feel like that's something that a lot of young people, they feel really sort of self-conscious and worry a lot about what people think. But at the end of the day, people are selfish and they're not going to be thinking about you. That people are always thinking about themselves. So, you know, do what you want to do what makes you happy. So yeah.
Well, and finally, leading on, do what makes you happy. When are you happiest?
Oh goodness. So many times. Laughing with my friends, making my videos, editing my videos where I like find a transition or it hits on the beat and it just works amazingly. Galloping across the fields or across the beach with my horses. Jumping my horses, and when you get like the perfect stride and they lift off and it just feels like you're flying. So many different things, but yeah.
You seem like a very happy person. Are you naturally are you a glass half full type person?
Yeah, I think I probably would say I am, yeah.
And I think that's what comes across, isn't it, in your videos, isn't it? Do you think it's that kind of, yeah, you love your horses and you love what you do?
Yeah, at the end of the day, if things don't go right, things always get better. So you just, you know, have to go along with life. It's a roller coaster and it always ends up all right.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Good positive words to finish on there, Esme. Thank you so much for your time. We've loved talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Good luck with reaching your 500,000.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll do it.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.